We now have students Hia, Sandesh, Arshia, Dave from the Riverside School joining us for a live session on holistic assessments. Over to you, team.
Hi everyone, I'm Hia and I'm joined today by Sandesh, Dev, and Arshia. And we're so glad to be here. Uh, and I'll be starting my screen share and we'll be going through holistic assessments and how they're done in Riverside. So just to give a gist about what we'll be talking about today, uh, we'll be talking about holistic assessments and the humane curriculum. And basically, over the past couple of years, we've come to realize that we're a lot more than just a stack of numbers from a checkpoint or my grade in math. And we wanted to use the various processes in Riverside, which we are very grateful to have, and how they allow us to basically understand ourselves better and be both excellent in our content as well as our character. Sandesh, over to you.
So the current education system is all about judging the child over its academic and cognitive strength, and which leads to children being in having anxiety or being in depression, and even as at the extreme committing suicide. And that is what education shouldn't be about. Talking about myself, I'm not a A-star student. I'm not very much academically inclined, and that's but however, at Riverside, since a very young age, we have different processes which allow for for character of a child's plurality of identity to be nurtured, and that is why Riverside is different, and a children's holistic evaluation is done, which does not lead to a lot of anxiety or stress on children.
So that is what our feel was. That was the problem that we identified. And to combat the same, this is the best case scenario that we had in mind, that we can holistically evaluate each individual and assess both the effort to learn and the results of the same using the various processes undertaken at Riverside. And to do so, like in our attempt to achieve this, we basically first started off by identifying the stakeholders, all the people who can basically give us constructive feedback, anecdotes of our time at Riverside and the various processes we undertaken, and how we present ourselves in those as a person. So the stakeholders important to a child are their parents, their teachers, their friends, and of course themselves. And we've always had this sort of balance between content and character, but online learning has given us the opportunity to sort of formalize it further in a 60-40 ratio, where 60% have been allocated to grades and will be taken directly from in the older grades, especially from our midterms, our examinations, and our checkpoints. And the 40% is a character evaluation, which will be done through these various processes. And these processes are basically broken down into the 5 E's, which are what we believe every child should pursue. So first is, of course, evolution. So how do we grow further? How do we always want to better ourselves? Then there is excellence, which is both academic and as a person. So how much effort are you putting in, and how are you striving to become better? And then there is ethics. So what are the choices you're making, everything? How moral are you? And then, of course, there is empathy and elevation, both of which my friends Arsha and Dave will be sharing through some of the processes. Empathy is basically how are you as a person, and that comes under programs at Riverside such as citizenship and persistence. Arsha? Is she there?
Dave, would you like to share about?
Yeah, thank you, Hia. Under citizenship, we try and become better people by partnering up with an NGO or helping a community. Last year in grade 6, we partnered up with Prabhat. Prabhat is an NGO that helps students with special needs. When I went there, I was thinking I won't fit in, and I don't know, it just wasn't for me. But when I actually interacted with them, it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot from them. They were really patient, and they were always giving 100% in their 100% effort in their work. So I took away that I can learn anything from anyone by partnering up with Prabhat. So as a token of gratitude, we wanted to make an anthem for them. So last week on Wednesday, we just launched an anthem. So when we were launching this anthem, I was in the leading committee. And one thing I saw was we were learning stuff that our Prabhat buddies had taught us, like being patient or being more hardworking towards what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dev, for sharing about empathy. Now let's move on to another E, which is elevation. So elevation is when one uplifts another person by sharing his or her skills. For example, I'm very good in arts. So wouldn't it be great if I could share this skill with others so that they can also benefit? To enable this, we have a process in Riverside called Spark Plugs. Spark Plugs are where students are given an opportunity to conduct sessions about their skills. For instance, I conducted a session about doodling where my friends and teachers gave me feedback on three things: my preparedness, my proactiveness, and my presence while the session. I worked on these and even self-reflected and got another opportunity to conduct a session with another grade. I noticed my confidence had increased. After that, I again got feedback and I will soon be sharing the skill online on Instagram or Facebook. Again, this wouldn't have been possible without peer, teacher, and self-reflection. So connecting that, we have another process in Riverside called year-end portfolios. This is my portfolio. So these portfolios, they sum up whatever we have done throughout the year and help us reflect on ourselves, like content and character wise. We do this through the 5 E's again: ethics, empathy, excellence, elevation, and evolution. So what we do is we write down and we find those moments which were telling us about each E, and again it is a form considering all four of our stakeholders.
And those were just a couple of processes that occur in the younger grades. And we add in from 8th to 12th, which is what we call as key stage 3, we have our own sets of processes. So something I'd like to share, and something that's a huge part of that 40% evaluation, is your presence. Now, presence is not necessarily a process as much as it's an idea, and it reflects on how much we participate in class. And it's more a form of how the teachers give us feedback. So that's the stakeholder that works with presence. So they talk about how do we participate? Do we ask questions in class? Do we go out of our way to help our peers? And especially with online learning, there is this whole new concept known as teaching assistant, where we will basically take the lead in class and sort of help the teacher out with Zoom, and also taking certain portions of the chapter ourselves, which personally for me, especially speaking in like biology, I have gotten various opportunities to do the same, and it really reflects in my grade in the subject. Right, Sandesh, would you like to share about passion projects?
Yeah, so another process which is part of this holistic assessment is the passion project. Passion project is also known as the ICANN project, where a student gets a platform to explore themselves, in their inclinations, their passions, what they're interested in. But for my passion project took a very long time. I changed my passion project as well. And over months of self-reflection, I got to know I'm inclined towards management, and I use this platform and time to explore more about management, learn more about management, taking online courses or sitting with experts and attending workshops and seminars, which allowed me to grow in a field which I'm actually interested in, and not something which only school wants me to do. And that's how I got to know about my passion. And soon I'll be starting my own startup and my own venture. And only because of this platform I was able to do that.
Yeah, and these processes, everything that we've just spoken about, they wouldn't be as effective as they are and wouldn't show up in the various things we do if we don't have an open mind and willing to accept feedback. This is a very student run and student led initiative. And if we as students do not take this in the right manner, do not do the sort of self-reflection that is asked of us, these processes won't necessarily be at their highest effectiveness. And with that, we'd like to end with something that we've kept in our minds throughout this entire journey. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And as students, we are a whole, and we want to showcase this entire plethora of angles of our personality rather than just what's seen on paper. And that's how we do it at Riverside.
The team, I would like to let you know that we are getting a lot of praises for the session that you have conducted. I hope you'll get a chance to go through the comment section later. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us at Inspire Day 20.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you, ma'am, for the opportunity.